Now we are seeing some of the previous GATE questions from the subject strength of materials. The beams, one having square cross section and other circular cross section, are subjected to the same amount of bending moment. If the cross sectional areas as well as the material of both the beams are the same, then option A, maximum bending stress developed in both the beams is same. Option B, the circular beam experience more bending stress than the square one. Option C, the square beam experience more bending stress than the circular one. Option D, as the material is same, both the beams will experience same deformation. And here the correct answer is option B. Let us see. He is given bending moment, same bending moment. The both are subjected to same bending moment. So bending moment applied on circular shaft and applied on square shaft is, let us say, same is, let us take it as M, and cross sectional area is also same. So area of cross section of circular shaft and area of cross section of square shaft or beam, anything is even same. So area of circle we know pi by 4 d square. Area of square is, suppose if you assume A is a side, so it is A square. So from this you can write A is, it is d into under root of pi by 4, and from the bending equation we know we can write m by I is equals to sigma b by y, where m is the bending moment, I is the moment of inertia of cross section, and sigma b is the bending stress, and y is the distance from the central axis to the outermost layer. So this we know, and from this we can write sigma b is equals to m into y by I. So if you write sigma b for circle, so it is m, and y will become center to the outermost layer is half of the diameter, it is d by 2 you can write, and for circular cross section the I value is pi d power 4 by 64. So if you simplify that, we are getting this 32 m by pi d cube, or it is 10.18 into m by d cube. And in the same way, if you find out sigma b for square cross section, so you can write m, and y will be, suppose total side is A if you take, so from central axis to the outermost layer is A by 2, and I for square is A power 4 by 12, and if you simplify we are getting 6m by A cube, or 6m by in the place of so in the place of A we can see d into pi under root of 5 by 4. So here in the place of A we are substituting d into under root of 5 by 4, and cube is there, and when you simplify that we are getting it as 8.62 into m by pi d cube. So this term is same, and only so here the more value is having sigma b for circle. So means bending stress induced in the circular shaft or member is more. So you can say, if you here from this you can say bending stress in circular is more than square, so circular beam experience more stress than the square beam. So here the correct option will be option B. And if you see the next question, a cantilever beam has the square cross section of 10 mm by 10 mm. It carries a transverse load of 10 newtons. Considering only the bottom fibers of the beam, the correct representation of longitudinal variation of bending stress is. So here is a cantilever beam given, and of cross section 10 by 10 mm, and a point load is acting like this at suppose middle portion from this diagram. So here we have to show the variation of bending stress along the length of the beam. So here some of the options are given, so we have to find out the right option here. So if you see, if you draw a line diagram here, it's a cantilever beam with given load at this center. So if you draw a bending moment diagram, so it will be like this. We know for a cantilever beam subjected to point load. So if you find out the bending moment at this point, it is 10 into 1 10 Newton meter. So we know the bending moment diagram for a cantilever beam with point load. So you'll get a inclined line, and with this will create hogging, so you'll get negative side inclined line. So this is from basics. We know we can draw bending moment diagram for a cantilever beam, the point load like this. So this up to here it is 0, no load, so 0, and from here it starts and it is goes to 10 Newton per meter maximum moment. So you can draw a bending moment diagram like this for this given case, and here this is the maximum bending moment value, 10 Newton meter. So bending stress at the point of maximum bending moment. So here is the maximum bending moment, and if you find out bending stress at this point, that will be sigma b is equals to m by z. This we know you can write from the basic bending equation. Sigma b is equals to m by z. So m is the maximum bending moment, that is 10 Newton meter, convert to Newton mm. So 10 into 10 to the power of 3, converting Newton meter to mm. And for a rectangular cross section, suppose our square or rectangle, suppose if you assume this is a rectangle by of b and d. So for that the z value, that is section modulus, is given by bd square by 6. So that is z, that is section modulus. So that is bd square by 6. B is 10 and d is also 10. So square by 6. So when you simplify that, we are getting this sigma b bending stress, that is maximum bending stress, as 60 megapascal. So from this you can say that bending stress is directly proportional to bending moment. So the variation of bending stress is along the length of the beam is same as the bending moment diagram. So from this relation you can say. So anyway, so bending moment diagrams like this. So in the same manner we'll get the bending stress variation, and the value of maximum bending stress is 60 megapascal. So 60 megapascal, and the linear variation is the right option. So here option A is the right option. And if you see the next question, a massless beam has a loading pattern as shown in the figure. The beam is of rectangular cross section with a width of 30 mm and height 100 mm. So here is a beam is given, that is a simply supported beam. From this diagram we can say, and UDL is given up to 2 meters to the right side of this, and 3 kilonewton per meter is the value, and like this is given, and is asking the question, the maximum bending moment occurs at. So here where the maximum bending moment occurs, at location B or at middle point, at some point from the different locations from point A is given. So we have to find out the location of maximum bending moment for this case. So if you draw a line diagram here, so simply supported beam, so you'll get reactions at A and B, that is RA and RB. So this is a UDL of 3 kilonewton per meter of 2 meters given. If you see the question, 3 kilonewton meters per 2 meters, and here I am drawing a dotted line, means it is a replace of UDL as a point load. We'll do this to find out the reaction forces. So here only the one load is there, that is UDL up to 2 meters from B. So that is you have to keep in mind here, and find out reaction forces. Why we are finding out reaction forces? To find out to draw SFD. Why we have to draw SFD means, so we know in the SFD where the diagram, the shear force is becoming 0, or it is changing sign, or it is 0. So it's especially in the case of simply supported beam with a UDL at some particular points. So in those 2 points, if you have a SFD changing the sign, or it is 0, shear force is 0, so at that location we know we'll get maximum bending moment. So to finding out that location we require SFD. To draw SFD we require these reactions. For that, this we have replaced this utilize a point load. So we know when you replace, you have to keep that the center of this length, and total value of UDL will become 3 into 2, that is 6 kilonewtons. So we know sum of forces 0, so RA plus RB going upwards must be balanced by this total value of UDL, that is 6. So RA plus RB is equals to 6. That is equation number 1. And sum of moments about any point must be 0. So if you see RB into 4, so RB into 4 must be balanced by this one more moment, that is 6 into this 6, means we have replaced this UDL as a point load, and we know we can place at this middle of these 2 meters. So that is 6 into distance will become 1 plus 2, 3. So we can write RB into 4, that is equals to 6 into 3 to balance the movements about A. And so if you simplify that, we are getting RB as 4.5 kilonewtons, and from here you can write RA as 6 minus 4.5, that is 1.5 kilonewtons. And if you observe this diagram, and these two are similar triangles, so from this similar triangles you can write, so this is 1 by 5 this side, and this side is from here to here is 2, and this side will become 2 minus 6. So 1.5 by 2 minus 6, 1.5 by 2 minus 6. So this is the once again corresponding same side. So this is 4.5. So on 1.5 means this value is 1.5, and 4.5 means this side value is 4.5. So 1.5 by 2 minus x, if you write, you have to write 4.5 by x. So the same thing we have written here, and from this if you find out x, 1.5 x, it is a 9 minus 4.5, and if you simplify the x value, we are getting 1.5 meters. So x is the value from the B we have assumed, so this we got as 1.5. So at this point the shear force is changing sign, or exactly at this point the shear force value is 0. So at this point we will get the maximum bending moment. So this point is 1.5 meters from B, or it will become 2.5 from A. So why? Because total is 4, means from this side it is 1.5 means, so from A it is 2.5 meters, or 2500 mm from A. So from the given options, option C is the right option for this question. And if you see the next question is given in the above question, means the same question, the previous question, the maximum magnitude of bending stress in megapascals is given by. So in the above question is asking the magnitude of maximum bending stress. So in this question we have to find out the magnitude of maximum bending stress, we have to find out. So that can be find out. So if you require maximum bending stress, it is a maximum bending moment by Z section modulus, and the maximum bending moment I told it will happen at this point. So at this point if you find out bending moment, that is maximum, so that can be found out by that is RB into 1.5. so that suppose sagging it is positive, and for 1.5 we have to find out bending moment because of UDL. So for 1.5 length, UDL value will become 3 into 1.5, that is the value of UDL that should be placed at 1.5 center, because we are finding out only for 1.5 distance. So you can write that is and this will create hogging moment. So 3 into 1.5, that is UDL value, and you have to keep that at 1.5 by 2 distance. Find out bending moment at 1.5 distance from this B. So anyway, you can write, I told you can write maximum bending moment, that is bending moment equation as RB into 1.5 minus 3 into 1.5. Up to here it is a UDL value, and you have to keep it 1.5 by 2. That's the location of this UDL. So when you simplify that, we are getting the value of maximum bending moment as a 3.375 kilonewton meter, and if you substitute here and Z value, it's given of rectangular cross section of width 30 mm and height 100 mm. So for rectangular cross section, the section modulus is B d square by 6. So B value is 30, D value 100. D square means 100 square by 6. So the same thing we have written here, and if you simplify that, we are getting value of maximum bending stress as 67.5 megapascals. So here option B is the right option. And if you see the next question, a simply supported beam of span length 6 meter and 75 mm diameter carries a UDL of 1.5 kilonewton meters throughout its length. What is the value of maximum bending moment? So a simply supported beam is given of length 6 meters, and it is carrying a UDL of 1.5 kilonewtons per meter throughout length. So in this case we are supposed to find out the value of maximum bending moment. So we know this is a direct standard case, or you can say, you can remember as a standard case. So when a UDL when a simply supported beam is carrying UDL throughout its length, the value of maximum bending moment is given by the formula WL square by 8, where W is the weight per unit length, so that is 1.5 in this case, and length is 6 meters, and by 8. So when you simplify that, we are getting the value of maximum bending moment as 13.5 kilonewton meter. So option B is the right option here. And if you see the next question, maximum shear stress developed on the surface of a solid circular shaft under the pure torsion is 240 megapascals. If the shaft diameter is doubled, then the maximum shear stress developed corresponding to the same torque will be. And here the options are given, and the correct option is option C. And let us see. So first of all, initially a shaft of diameter D is is applied torque. So in that case, the maximum value of shear stress is given 240 megapascals. And the second case, if the shaft diameter is doubled, so what will be the shear stress for the same torque is asking. So we know torque transmitted by a solid circular shaft, the equation is T is equals to pi by 16 tau d cube. So from this equation you can say that this shear stress is inversely proportional to d cube, or you can write tau is proportional to 1 by d cube, or you can write tau 2 by tau 1 is equals to d1 cube by d2 cube. So here 1 and 2 is a case 1 and case 2, or situation 1, situation 2. So in the situation 1, the diameter is d1, and situation 2 we have taken diameter as d2. So d1 cube by d2 cube, or it is d1 by d2 whole cube. So we require shear stress value in situation 2 when diameter is doubled for the same torque. So tau 1 into d1 by d2 whole cube, and if you write from this tau 2 like this, and tau 2 is tau 1 into this value, and tau 1 is given 240 megapascals, 240, and initially if you assume d is the diameter, in the second case diameter is double means 2d, and if you simplify that, it is 1 by 2 whole cube, or 1 by 2 cube is 1 by 8. So 240 into 1 by 8 here, so that will be 30. So here the tau 2 means shear stress in the second situation means when the diameter is doubled for the same torque, the shear stress will become 30 megapascals. So here option C is the right option. And if you see the next question, for a circular shaft of diameter D subjected to torque T, the maximum value of shear stress is, and some of the options are given, and here the correct option is option C, 16 T by pi d cube. So this is also we can write from the same torsion equation, pi by 16. Tau means here a tau max only. So here why it is tau max means, if you see torsion equation, it is T by J tau by R part of the torsion equation, and D is the diameter of the shaft. So from this you can write T is equals to J by R into tau, and J for solid circular shaft, you know, pi d power 4 by 32, and R means here distance from the central axis to the outermost layer, that will become d by 2 anyway. So we have taken outermost layer where we'll get maximum shear stress. So here shear stress means the shear stress corresponding to the outermost layer. So this shear stress will be maximum shear stress only. So if you are using this equation means the shear stress will be the maximum shear stress only. So we can write from that equation, so tau max is 16 T by pi d cube, and here the option C is the right option for this question. And if you see the next question, a rope brake dynamometer attached to a crankshaft and IC engine measures a brake power of 10 kilowatts when the speed of rotation of this shaft is 400 radians per second. The shaft torque in Newton meter sensed by the dynamometer is. So here if you see a rope brake dynamometer is attached to a IC engine. For the engine power is 10 kilowatts is given, and the shaft rotation is given in the radians per second, that is 400 radians per second. And here we have to find out the torque, shaft torque value, and here the answer is 25 Newton meter. And we know brake power we can write as 2 pi nt by 60 equation, and it is given 10 kilowatts, or 10 into 10 to the power of 3 watts. And we know this 2 pi n by 60 is omega, that is radians per second, and this t as it is. So this omega value is given here 400 radians per second, and substituting here it is the torque we require here, and this is the power. When you simplify that, we are getting torque value as 25 Newton meter. If you see the next question, two shafts A and B are made up of same material. The diameter of shaft B is twice that of shaft A. The ratio of power which can be transmitted by shaft A to that of shaft B is, and some of the options are given, and here the correct option is option C. And let us see how it is option C. So we know power transmitted by a shaft is 2 pi nt by 60, and here shaft means I can assume solid shaft itself, nothing is mentioned. And so, and one more thing we can write, torque is 5 by 16 tau d cube, and from these two equations we can say power is directly proportional to torque, and torque is proportional to diameter cube. So from 1 and 2 we can write that power is directly proportional to diameter cube, or A and B shafts are given, means power by shaft A to the power by shaft B is diameter cube of shaft A to the diameter cube of shaft B. That equation we can write from these initial steps. So from that, suppose any diameter of the shaft you can take as a D, shaft A you can take it as D. Diameter of the shaft B will become 2D. So why? Because for A we have taken D, means for B it is twice of A, so it is 2 times of D. So D cube, and it is 2D whole cube. So if you simplify this thing, it will be d cube, and it is the 2 cube means 1 by 8. So sorry, 8. So anyway it is 1 and it is 8. D cube goes, and we'll get, or you will be remaining with 1 by 8. So it is the nothing but ratio of power transmitted by shaft A to the power transmitted by shaft B. So here option C is the right option here. So for more videos, please subscribe and activate bell symbol, and also please share my videos with your friends. Thanks for watching.